everybody. Wait, actually, I'm gonna zoom my stuff. Oh, why do we have this smoke effect on for the 10th episode? It's the 10th episode of the LPL English podcast. Coming at you live here on YouTube and having fun with it. Yanni is going to be joining us. Unfortunately, everybody else, for some reason, is very, very busy all of a sudden at this time for this day. So we were able to get Yanni, who it's been this day for a couple hours now.
True, and let me tell you, it's listen, I got home from just testing Riftbound all day. I've been grinding out Riftbound all day because I'm going to Atlanta this weekend. So I have been. My brain is just all mush right now, but that's all right. We're good.
Oh,
ready to go.
Okay. So how was it? How did it go? I mean, we've got time. It's probably going to be a shorter episode.
Yeah. So after a feudal matchup against the Zir, I was playing Lucian. My friend says, "Do you want to keep going against this matchup?" And I'm like, "Yes, I must win." And they're like, "Are you learning anything?" And I said, "I learned that maybe I should have made the airplane ticket refundable." It was not a great day for me. The good news is its Draven matchup is pretty okay. It's actually pretty good. So as long as the field is like mostly Draven, I can feel pretty confident about it. But if I'm running into a Azir, I am figuring out what there is to do in Atlanta, very early in the day.
So my next question then, and we'll move on to the actual episode after this, is how much Azir are you expecting at Atlanta?
Well, Azir just won the qualifier in Europe in Lille. The good news is Azir was like kind of a niche deck before. It's a week before the event. I don't know if it's gonna bump the player base up that much, but I've got a feeling that the chances of me running into Azir are much higher now than they were like 3 days ago. I'm worried.
Good luck. Have fun in Atlanta.
We made the bathroom vlog saying we are in trouble.
Oh boy. Well, we can kind of get actually a little bit started here. I do have to real quick just make one change before we get into the episode. And again, if you want to join us, please make sure that you're keeping us subscribed over on either our YouTube or our Twitch. It really helps out, and making sure that you have the notifications on definitely makes it a lot easier for you to know when we're going live. And Yanni, I think really more exciting for me is that we are going to have, sorry, I'm coordinating with, we are going to have, after this week, we are finally going to have a Tuesday match.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Going into next week.
Yeah, you and me are going to be on Tuesday. I'm very excited about it.
Oh.
Yeah, we have IGAL, I think, which going to be a weird match, honestly. We'll see what happens coming up with this week.
Yeah. That one's gonna hurt, I think. I think we're gonna go into that day and we're gonna learn a lot about ourselves, emotionally and physically. All right, I just had to make the update. I'm letting Prod know that the sheet is now updated, so we can now actually have this graphic. It's big, it's ugly, and it doesn't matter because you're gonna see it anyway. When we get into this episode, jeez. Yanni, how did you feel about your experience on LPL this week? What did you think about the games? I know you were on for at least some of them.
Yeah, I was on for Top Esports and BLG. I mean, like, that was fire. Like, listen, I don't think anybody was expecting Top Esports to 2-0 BLG like that, especially in the manner in which they did. Kind of concerned a little bit with that series because it feels like if you manage to shut down Bin, like, I kind of expected the rest of BLG to be like, "Oh, no worries, we can carry in the papoose," and they just couldn't. They could not get it done. I mean, the star-studded team was unable to beat Top Esports.
They are 10 and okay. What is this question, producer? Our own standings. Those, I can't say that. You know what? Actually, I can't say that. Wait, why don't you bring up the standings? Why don't you bring up the standings, huh? You thought about that? Yeah.
Maybe you should.
Maybe you should. Wait, is my audio even going to go through on? Okay. I was making sure that was properly routed. Here's our actual standings using our actual graphics and not me going to fandom wiki. But I think some of the more fun stuff was stuff that we talked about on the last podcast. It's unfortunate that WE still can't find a win. I am feeling more emboldened in my like self bet that WE are likely to not win a single game. That AL
right.
series was something visually and gameplay wise. Just WE are getting it together. I feel a little less confident because they actually have like some competent early games. Again, versus AL, I think they could have very easily won that game number 2, and we would have been going to 3, but they've yet to really piece together about an Arha joining the rest of the team, and mid-top just look like deserts, man. It is so depressing.
Yeah, it's really brutal. I mean, the good news for Team WE is that they have 2 series against Weibo Gaming left, right? Like,
Yep.
we know that Weibo Gaming is liable to just oopsies from time to time, and you know, it's not just because they're 1-4. If they were 4-1, I'd be saying the same damn thing. I'd be like, listen, they will drop a game to people that they shouldn't. But Team WE to not win a single game, like, I don't know, bro. Like, I never thought in a million years that I would be like, you know what, it might happen. I'm so worried for them, especially because of the way like NIP have been looking. Like, that was a team that they still have to go up against later on, and I don't know, man. It seems tough for these guys.
We were like, okay, you know, one of the last games of the split, you're going to be playing NIP. If it was back in week 1, we're like, these teams should be even against each other. WE have not won a game since February, which is like, it's going to get worse. We're going to go an entire week. We're going to get closer to, you know, March, or not March. We're going to get closer to like May. And then we're saying, okay, 3 months. Do we make changes, right? Like, they're already in Ascend. It's not likely that they can't go back to Nirvana, right? So
yeah,
I guess
I
they
mean,
could if they lose that best of 5 at the beginning of playoffs.
And-
That would
and
be
they-
crazy.
and they could, right? Like, I like
They
the
lose
way
to
I like the way
EDG
yeah,
gets
like
to
the way
move up,
Thundertalk is
leapfrog them.
looking, like EDG. Yeah, like those are some good representation to play against. So, you know, whether it be Thundertalk or EDG, especially with the way Thundertalk have been rolling.
Okay, let's move on to the next segment because it's going to be about some of the teams that we have here on the top half of our standings. Last week, I was like, okay, these are the 3 other teams not named BLG in the top 4. Which one do we think is going to make, like, is going to continue their role? Because it was all of these teams had to play BLG this week, and it was going to basically come down, or not BLG, sorry, JDG, or NIP and BLG haven't played against each other, but this was kind of like, okay, big weeks coming up for these teams. NIP, they won versus JDG. IG lost a couple other series, most importantly losing to Weibo, which felt really strange in the way it was like the one-hit wonder for Weibo, at least for the season, for the split so far. But other than that, I don't know, like, if you had any opinions on how much further we think these 3 are going to go.
Yeah, I did think that IG was a little fake. We can see the revival of IG this upcoming week if they beat up on JDG, which is a team that just looks like they've had their own whole host of issues themselves. But pound for pound, should be able to play a very good series against IG. We'll, you know, jury's out on that one. I mean, NRP, we are going to figure out if they are fake this week. They have AL, they have BLG, they have Top Esports.
True.
There's a world where they go 0-3. I think the more likely world is that they go 1-2. If they go 2-1, they're real to me.
Like I said last week, that beating JDG was good enough for me to give them praise and actually believe in this team to be a top 4 team for the upcoming week. I think that AL series is very much in their grasp. I have the series we just saw versus BLG, or versus BLG for anyone's legend, just felt very lifeless. There were moments, especially in game 2, where I'm watching Flandra play Vayne top, and he gets to team fights, and there's actual sauce there, but they completely ruin the game walking underneath that turret, underneath the inhib turret. They give a triple kill to Shun, and then the fight around Dragon, the fight around Baron, all in like consecutive order basically made it a 2-0 series for BLG. So I think NIP, you already have this on fire bot lane. If we can keep up the momentum and more importantly, bounce back after what we think is going to be a very tough week playing against BLG and Top Esports.
Yeah, again, they don't need to, like, go 3-0 or anything. Like one win.
It would be
I think we
nice.
should be
It
really
would be
happy
nice.
with. Yeah. Oh my God, absolutely. I mean, if they went 3-0 this week, we are like, I have no idea what the hell is going on to the LPL in 2026. Like, for real. Like, listen, I know we have a certain date right now, Alk, but you're talking a little crazy, man. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, if they were 6-1, bro, where the conversation's going to shift from, wow, guys, it looks like Top Esports is going to MSI to, wow, guys, it looks like Ninjas in Pajamas are going to MSI.
Hoya's going to an international, guys.
Hoya,
That would be a
Hoya
legendary
International.
headline. Hoya and Care. Hoya, Care, Guwon. And Duo is going to another. Oh, it would be beautiful. It would honestly fulfill some Top Esports legacy, honestly. Just to really quick round out, Top Esports look incredible. They're on a 10-game win streak right now. They are 5-1. They lost their first series versus IG and then very quickly dispatched them last night. Game 1 was a little bit tricky just because we saw Renard play this Xerath into Azir and actually did very well for a portion of the game, but they threw. So until signs point to otherwise, I think Top Esports is back in at least regular season topping fashion like we saw from them last year. And that's really scary because I want to see what these guys could do in a best of 5 already.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, the thing that I love the most is that they play for Zwayon a lot, and now the stats are actually starting to support it. He's had a lot of really, really good games since the early part of the year. And it just feels like this is a team where everybody's playing so well, and the role players of Zwayon and Feng Yue, for the fact that they are role players for now, are playing their roles incredibly well. They're getting it done when they need to get it done. For these two young guys to be able to do that around this 3 core veteran, of jungle, mid, and AD carry, like, it's really, really exciting. I really am interested in the growth of these guys. I want to see what they're going to look like by the end of the year already, man. And it's super exciting. And I really hope that this continues because we didn't really have the highest hopes after 369 was going to step down.
Yeah. I don't even know if 369 is even gonna really have a spot, at least for this split. I still think it is very realistically in the realm that 369 maybe doesn't see time until the start, most likely start of playoffs at the very earliest, in my opinion. If Zwayon is playing for them in playoffs in their first series, I think it's unlikely we see 369 until split 3. And that might even change up the league, right? Because if they really like Zwayon and they go all the way, maybe 369 goes out on the market. Who knows? Give Top Esports a lifeline when it comes to developing talent. I love Feng Yue and think he's made a lot of improvements. I don't know if they're going to keep him. They might just say, hey, another team wants a top level support. We'll give you over to this guy, and we'll take someone with more experience potentially and swap that out and try to get more pieces around Tian and Jackie Love. Also, Cream is performing really insanely right now.
Oh, yeah. This guy is, like, I'm so happy because I was really disappointed by Cream, like, for most of the year last year. Really came out strong to start this year and has really continued to play super well. I think I remarked on one of the casts that, like, if he continues, like, with this level, like, this is a team that can do some damage at internationals. I know, don't get excited in Top Esports or anything like that, but I don't know, man. I'm starting to get excited about these guys. I was excited about them last year at Worlds, and I fell for it, but I'm so ready to fall for it again, bro. Like, I fall for the 76ers every year. I will fall for Top Esports every year.
Yeah, that's gonna be the big problem. Okay, so let's move on because we've kind of spent a long time on these 3 teams. I want to get ahead of the race. We are gonna be going into week 4 out of 7. I think that we need to start thinking about Tian versus Knight for MVP of this split. This has been a conversation that hasn't only happened this split, surprisingly enough. It's happened in prior splits, whether it was with Tian on Top Esports or other lineups. But I think these two players are probably number 1 and number 2 in the league right now. and I'm just sad that it's another year where we don't get to see them play together.
Yeah, I mean, oh my god, dude, could you? He's so sick. Um, dude, honestly, I think I have to give it to Tien just by virtue of not only like stats, like he's leading jungle in every like major statistical category, in terms of kills, deaths, assists, all in all the right ways. Obviously, some of the advanced metrics, some are in his favor, some are, you know, he's not number one. But I mean, honestly, I think what's going to separate this a lot, you know, I can't really speak for how the voters will vote, but I think the eye test might separate this a lot. You know, when we talk about both of these teams, right now the story of Split 2 has kind of really been Bin and only him, because when things are going well, he's crushing. When things aren't going well for him, he's not. Like, the team is not doing as well. And for top esports, we're like, it is Tien driving this team, right? Like, the narratives make me believe that they're going to go with Tien in terms of voting. And it might kind of erode what is like a really good split from Knight too.
I think this is probably going to be a very underrated split for a night where he is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Thankfully for BLG, at least we've had a couple series now in a row from them that I am feeling like Viper is playing or is starting to get to like in a really, really good level. It has not been every game. It has definitely been, I think he's a bit of a slower starter, especially in series. But I think in best of fives, once we get to like game 3 and game 4, Viper is going to feel super warmed up and ready to go. I think the only thing that might stop me from voting for Knight is that we are not getting like, actually, that's not even true. I think we are getting 1v9 Knight performances.
We are.
The spread of champions, as much as I want the depth from him, I think I would want to see him concentrate on more of the like super hard carries, but I don't think that's a fault of him. I think that that's completely unable to be like put on him as blame. So I still might vote for Knight at the end of the day, but Tian has been nuts for this team, for this top esports squad. And I think that this roster probably is not 5-1, if not for him like solo carrying a lot of early games.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the big differentiator in the end. I mean, I think if somebody wants to vote for Knight, like, you know, all things equal when we get to the end of the split and things kind of stay the status quo, that ain't a bad vote. I'm not going to shame anybody for voting for Knight, but if you were to tell me right now, I will absolutely vote Tien, and I will be proud and I will beat the drum for him, because that team needs him so badly. And again, as you just mentioned, the reason why they're doing so well.
Dude, I'm looking at player of the match awards right now, and it might unironically just come down to that. Like,
yeah, you know what, you're right.
For BLG, all of the votes are spread out like fairly evenly. Player of the series awards, it's Bin and Shun with 2, and then Knight and Shun with 2, and then Bin has one of them. Player of the games for BLG is 2 across the board for every single player. So they're sharing a lot of the awards because of how spread out some of these appearances are. I look at top esports. Tian is 3 in player of the series. He's tied with Wei for the entire league in terms of first. Cream and JackieLove each have 1. Player of the games, 4 for Tian, 3 for JackieLove, 2 for Swayon, 1 for Cream. Like, if it comes down to like you're trying to figure out, like you're picking at like very small things, if it's just player of the game, which isn't always indicative of actually the best player on that team, Tian has that record for himself. And that was something that helped us figure out whether it was going to be Tarzan or Knight, just not even last split, but even split 2 and split 3. Those were big helpers and metrics for figuring out who was going to be MVP.
All right, pack it in. It's Tian. We call it a day.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah. Listen, the rest of his team is not yet good enough like BLG to pull those votes away. You know, the rest of the team is good, but you know, again,
Cream
not
played well.
BLG.
Cream played well, and I'm excited. But let's take a small trip down to our favorite part of the league.
Oh yeah.
You can't contest them. You can't stop them. It's Nirvana. We have 2 series every single week of Nirvana for the foreseeable future. There is going to be a Nirvana Super Week coming up, which I'm super excited about. Actually, it's this week. Yay! This week is the Nirvana Super Week. We've got 3 Nirvana series coming up. And Saturday is going to be a triple series day, so that'll be fun in terms of scheduling. But 3 Nirvana series, but we can just real quick recap this week. Thunder Talk moving up 2-0. Fairly surprising, considering where we thought this team was going to be, especially with their opposition, primarily OMG.
Yeah, OMG, I don't know, bro. I'm looking at their match this week against LNG, and I would say send these boys back to the LDL, but we have no idea what the hell's going on to the LDL.
I have official word on that.
Oh?
We did get a message today from our representative. This will also be shared to the rest of the crew, but everybody who watches the podcast, you get a sneak peek. Their journey, if you get relegated, they won't participate in Split 3, but the team will not go to the LDL. To me, that is a soft confirmation that we will see LDL at some point this year, but that's not a 100%. It could just be there is no LDL this year.
I don't know if I take that as a soft confirmation, right?
I want it as soft confirmation because it's not an outright this doesn't exist. We can still pray and hope that our development league still is here. So I think getting relegated now is just like, as you can see, OMG are very desperate. They do not want to get relegated. They thought, hey, we performed very well in Demacia Cup. Starry looked good. Our new mid laner is looking good, like Rayo and Haichao, but they played Juhan for a series once they lost their first one. They're reaching for everything right now.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I would have kept ReZero. I mean, like, this guy, he was your split one hero. Like, you got to ride with that horse, baby. It's the year of the horse. You got to ride with that horse. I mean, like, because the problem is, I don't think that Juhan gave you enough juice anyway, right? We already saw what he was not able to do in Split 1, right? Like, I would have just kept going with ReZero and said, you know what, this is my guy. I understand, you know, when you run an organization and, you know, you already lost your first match and you lose to a team that, you know, you were hoping not to lose to in LGD, that you thought that you were better than. Now you're like hitting the panic button. I really do get it, but I don't know. This poor rookie over here is now getting.
I don't know if I would
around.
say they're better than LGD, but they are definitely better than they were supposed to technically be better than Thunder Talk, considering they kept most of this lineup.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
And they won game 1. It was in convincing fashion, and then everything just kind of fell off the wheel. So I don't know whether or not they're going to continue to play this, but this definitely, if they lose this, it's single round robin. So they're going to start off 0-3, and then their last matches are Ultra Prime and Edward Gaming. I don't think Ultra Prime, maybe. They might just be the absolute worst team in Nirvana, and we'll kind of see. But I'm worried for OMG. They went from very bright hopefuls to now on the verge of getting relegated, which is pretty disappointing, I think, for not only a legacy org, but one that did just bring in a fairly exciting rookie last split. So
yeah, went from,
who knows?
Oh my god, they're doing it. So oh my god, like
Thunder Talk are doing it. That's exciting at the very least.
I am so excited about that team. Like, these solo laners, boy, these solo laners. I love young League of Legends talent, baby. It's very exciting to see. And after the way that they struggled, they paid their dues and perseverance in Split 1. To see them 2-0 right now is like super great. Shame they're not going to be on this week, but that's all right. They already had their 2 games. Hopefully they those boys get some rest over on Thunder Talk. I'm sure Slayer's happy.
Sure, yeah. I want to see Junhao succeed. On has been a very welcome addition to this team. I think having a stable bot lane when you have 2, not rookies, but fairly inexperienced solo lanes, you need to have your consistent damage dealer be part of something, right? Like we got to see Haru debut in Split 1, but really didn't kind of impress very much, considering this team literally didn't win a single game, or they won a single game the entire time in their 0-6 series. So I think that this team more than likely, and I called it out when we did the preseason podcast, I said that Thunder Talk, now with On and Keshi, the rumors were that this team was really good. So They don't have a match this upcoming week. I'll be excited to see whether or not they can kind of put it all together. Otherwise, I think a 2-0 start is probably good enough to get you in 4th place at this point, unless there's a massive, massive collapse. So, all right, that was our trip to Nirvana. We had a little bit of fun here. Before we wrap up what is a bit of a smaller episode for us here, we are going to have producer Ilya come through and do another learning Chinese. While we are here and getting this all set up, Yanni, you might want a pen and paper real quickly.
Already got my sticky notes, pens right here.
Can you hand me
Came prepared.
the Apple pen or the fake Apple pen or whatever it is? It is not
Don't tell
fake?
me you have. Don't tell me you have a
real one.
pineapple pen.
Hello.
Let me make sure this works. Uh-oh. This pen worked the other day.
Let me do that. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Learning Chinese with the LPL English podcast. Oh, that's cute. Okay, today the first word we're going to learn is da. This means big.
Okay.
And then the second word we're going to learn today is shu. This means tree.
Da and shu.
And then when we put big and tree together, we get the champion nickname for not Malphite, Maokai.
Nice.
Yeah. So he's just a big tree. And then alongside Maokai, we have Wen is the name for Ivern. A lot of times with Mandarin, when you don't really have a good descriptor word for a champion, you can often just adapt how you would say it in English to Chinese characters. For example, Wen for Ivern, or they say Olafu for Olaf.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
That's our cat screaming in the background.
You can hear that?
I think they can,
I was able to hear it a little bit.
I think they can hear it through my microphone.
Okay. How did I do?
That looks good.
Mine is. It could use some work.
Yeah, I would say for your
Well-
shu, Yanni, I would put the 3 parts of the character a bit closer together.
I guess Yanni hasn't been here for some of these, but
Got it.
when you're drawing the characters, think of when you're drawing.
Yeah, it's like the grid, the four, the four
the
block.
quadrants,
I've been paying attention. Don't worry.
All right, cool. Making sure then. All right, never mind.
Yeah, I got you.
I
My penmanship in general is like not ideal. I've always been a very sloppy writer. Let's try and put this thing together.
Producer Ilya, could you move your VTuber so I could see the other? Thank you. Yeah, get out of the way, nerd. Okay.
And then for Alk, you might recognize the character Wen from here is the same one that we use for Zhongwen for as in language. It's the same character.
What are you asking me?
So since you've been learning a bit of Chinese, the Wen in Ivern is the same Wen as language. For example, Zhongwen, Yingwen. This is the same Wen because you're just taking the sound of the character.
Interesting.
Definitely messed
I
up
love
on this
phonetics.
last one at the bottom. I put a little bit of curve on it, which at the top, which is incorrect.
That looks good. I would say
this
again,
messed-
try to keep your characters a little bit closer together, the different parts of it.
Okay. Okay.
job.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, left a little bit too much room there. Excellent.
I love learning about
Big tree.
Ivern and Maokai on today's date. It's,
Yeah, some of my favorite stuff. Did you ever get
It's-
those smoke machines approved?
No. Kelsey decided.
Yeah, we did.
that
They're right
was
here.
too expensive smoke machine.
Hell yeah.
See?
Can we get, like, the glass? Can we get,
we
like-
were able to get the smoke machine in here for the podcast, though.
True. Now we just need the sunglasses.
I think I have a pair on my. I'm not doing.
Mine are in my car. It is 6 in the morning. My ass is not getting up to go into my car to go grab my sunglasses.
No, it would not
Sorry,
be-
everybody. I'm gonna come back up.
Maybe next
Where
time.
is everybody? Yeah, podcast over. Sorry.
Podcast is done. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, producer Elia, for teaching us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay,
Big
bye.
appreci-
Yep.
Okay, bye.
And we're gonna send Elia back to the Shadow Realm, back to the
Back to the
producer's
mines.
closet. Yep, back to the mines. All right, Yanni, we've got a couple of exciting games coming up this week. I do realize that I decided to be a big, fat, disgusting noob and not put the
Okay.
schedule in our podcast here, at least for the people on the screen.
That's
So,
okay.
if there are any games, I'll take a screenshot real quick of the schedule and I'll send it over in our chat so you can come see this. Is there any games this week that you think fans at home should watch? If they only had time, if they said, Yanni, I can only watch one series in the next week until the next podcast, what am I looking at?
Oh, that is so tough. If you could only watch one, then it might be worthwhile to watch JDG and IG as the one. And if you could watch two,
Thank you.
NIP, BLG, Top Esports, NIP. You'll want to watch both NIP series. But if you could only watch one, JDG, IG is probably better because of where these teams are in the standings and the impact that this is going to have moving forward over the last couple of weeks of the split.
Okay. For our Nirvana enjoyers, please, that Friday, the 24th, 2 a.m. PST, go there. Please look, I think probably Friday is the most important day outside of our Super Day where we have 3 series, as you can see on the 25th. But OMG LNG is essentially going to decide if we have a team already relegated in April, which is pretty crazy. Just to say, like,
it's brutal. I feel for those OMG guys. It's a tough task to try to beat LNG, who have already been handed a loss, right? And this is a team that could potentially be leaking oil, right? I mean, they did lose the EDG, so
no, we need to add oil. We need to gyro.
Yes, they need a gyro, right? But like, I wonder if EDG outplayed them that day, if LNG were like just not on their game, or if like LNG are like very dissatisfied with their situation.
EDG definitely outplayed them. That series, I was casting it with Quacks. It was a series that had a lot of, oh, 1xN might be our best player or is kind of the player that we play around to get a lead. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, well, we have Leave and Jue. And our other lanes are solid enough that they're not going to be losing. Like ZDZ versus Sheer, I'm not usually expecting for Sheer to take a massive lead.
Angel
Croco
versus Bulldog.
Yeah, exactly. A neutralizer there, and Croco didn't feel like he had. I thought that was probably one of Xiaohao's like worst series that he had, but that was a week and a half ago. We don't have to really worry about that.
Yeah,
now.
that was a while ago.
So, Yanni, I want to thank you for joining us, especially because Slayer did lie and in fact say that he was going to be here not only on live, by the way. He said this during the show yesterday that he was going to be here, but then he let us know today, a couple hours ago, that he wasn't going to be here. So, reminder, if you want to get at him, please make sure that you go and nicely send messages to Leo Slayer Silverman. Nicely send him messages online.
I can't believe we missed you on the podcast today. So sad. Make him.
Those are some words
feel
you
bad.
could use.
Make him feel bad.
Sure. Yes, make him feel bad. He allegedly said he'll be on for the next episode, which is what he told me last week. So now I'm getting dodged for 2 weeks now. I think it's just something. I think he just really wanted to have the one series cast with me and then call it a week. But
brother does not want the opportunity for you to flame him for decisions made in Hardstuck Casterlo games.
I don't know, but look, if he wants to duck me for another week, there's people who do love having my presence, such as my wonderful roommate, producer Elia. And that's it. Yanni, is there anything else that is there?
Oh no!
Fans find you on in the next upcoming week. Or what are you up to?
So I'm gonna be around for NIP BLG on Thursday morning before I catch this flight to Atlanta, and then you'll see me again on Tuesday morning, IG versus AL, the day after I come back from Atlanta. Not sure how there's no jet lag. I'm East Coast.
There's no jet lag, bro. You
not-
can't. There's
I
no
have no
cap. You're going from
excuse.
Atlanta to New Jersey.
I have no excuse. Other than that, in places you can find me on Twitter at YanniCast. I will be documenting my entire trip and probably putting out some content there because I am now obligated to put out Riftbound content for the next at least 2 regional qualifiers. But yeah, I'll try to be around as much as possible. But the weekends, I might not even be in the chat. I might be crying over my Lucian deck.
Well, I wish you best of luck. I hope everybody in chat that is not going to Atlanta wishes you luck, because it would probably not feel good for them to give you...
if you're going to Atlanta, say hi. Like, I'll be around.
There you go. Maybe more than usual, depending on how that goes, how the weekend goes. But from myself and producer Ilya and the rest of the LPL English podcast, I want to say thank you for joining us for the podcast, whether it was live or recorded. Again, if you want to catch the VOD over on LPL_English on YouTube and our Twitch, LPL English, you can catch us. We'll be here coming back on Wednesday. We do not have Tuesday matches again this week, but next week, you'll know because we'll have a podcast going live. Thank you, everybody, and have a good night.
Bye.